All right, guys, I'm getting ready to do the little experiment that I've been wanting to do. Basically, this right here is yeast that I harvested from a 6-pack of Kellerweis Bavarian-Style wheat beer from Sierra Nevada. Really good beer, guys. Go check it out. I was going to do a beer review on it, but, well, it just didn't happen. Anyways, I'm pretty much just going to make about a 3.5 gallon batch, guys. Going to do it with some stuff that I had left over. I got 3.15 pounds of this here wheat malt here, wheat malt extract. And I also have a pound of Bryce Pilsen Light dried malt extract. I'm going to use both of these here together. And I will be adding this here Cascade 45-minute boil, guys. For the first 45 minutes of the boil, I'll put half of this, and then for the 20 minutes of the boil, I'll put the other half. And at the last 5 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and add these. I'm not making a wit beer, but oh, hell, it might be close to a wit beer. I'm not really too sure. I haven't really checked on the recipes, but I smelt these, and I really like this stuff, man. And I really think it might give this little beer a nice little nudge and fragrance and flavor at the end of it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get some of this right here and add it to this so it'll have some kind of a starter, get this thing started. And I'm also going to be adding some yeast nutrient to this, guys. There's not really a whole lot of yeast in the bottom of that jar right there. So I want to make sure that it gets enough nutrient to get took off without straining the yeast very badly. My normal fermenter, I think, is going to be just is in use right now. My normal fermenter is in use right now, so I'm going to use a big mouth bubbler for this 3.5 gallon batch. It might be a little bit overkill, but it should be perfectly fine, guys. It's not going to hurt to have all that extra head space in there because the CO2 is still rise. It's going to push pretty much all the oxygen out of it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing done. All right, guys, I have the malt extract syrup sitting inside of this warm water to help make it more liquidated, so whenever I pour it out, it'll all come out instead of leaving a big bunch of it inside of it, you know, and then rinse it out a little bit and pour some more in there. I'm going to go ahead and fill up my pan, and I'm going to get the boil started. All right, guys, I'm going to put 3 gallons of water in here, and then I'm going to get the malt extracts, and I'm going to pour them inside there and get this thing up to a boil. Okay, guys, now we got about 3 gallons of water inside of this pot. It's just now starting to get hot. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the malt extracts and start dumping it in and bring everything up to a boil. Make sure you start stirring pretty quick, because if not, you could actually scorch it on the bottom of this. Got to get it in, mixed all together there. Got to get it mixed very, very well. Make sure there's no clumps on the bottom. And same with the dry malt extracts as well. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cut this here 1 pound of this here open. This thing should come out to about 4% alcohol at 3.5 gallons. That's what I'm hoping for. That's why I'm doing 3.5 gallons instead of 4 gallons, because 4 gallons is, well, it's less than 4% alcohol. So, and we kind of want this to be around 4%. Of course, we'll check all that out at the end game here when we get ready to stick it in the fermenter, when we check the alcohol levels on it. If you wonder what I'm doing, I'm adding a little bit of this at a time so I don't get some super sized clumps. Definitely don't want no super sized clumps of this. I don't know what this Pilsen malt's going to do to this, guys. I'm hoping it's just basically adding sugar to it. I don't know what kind of flavors it might throw into it. But I mean, we know what wheat ales taste like. I mean, this is just a straight little over 3 pounds of wheat malt extract, and I've actually made wheat ales before, and I know what they taste like. But adding this Pilsner malts to it, I have no clue what that's going to do to it. This is just a test, guys, and I'm not willing to waste a bunch of beer and a bunch of money on something that I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, because I'm not sure that yeast is even going to be good enough or even enough to ferment this entire batch of beer. But we're going to see. It's a test. You got to test. You got to do things like that in order to find out what works and what doesn't work. Yeah, guys, you got to experiment. That's how people find the best beers, the best taste. That's how you get all these different flavors. If you didn't experiment, we wouldn't have none of that right now. We'd be stuck with one type of beer and one type of beer only. Maybe piss beer, you know what I'm saying? Some piss beer. I don't want no piss beer. You want some piss beer? I didn't think so. I've also been thinking about experimenting with some corn. I got some Indian corn I'm thinking about planting next year. And I might see about figuring out a way to make some kind of an ale out of that. Taking this, planting it next year, and making me a beer out of it. I'm gonna do some research and see what I can do with it. I thought it'd be a pretty cool idea. What do you guys think? Alright guys, this thing's finally boiling. You really can't see it because, well, it's starting to pop up right there. Just now started boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and add my first hop addition, which is a 1/4 of an ounce of Cascade hops. Go ahead and drop that on there. And then here, at the last 30 minutes of the boil, I'll go ahead and throw in another hop addition of the same amount, another 1/4 of an ounce of Cascade hops. I usually use Cascade hops for everything, guys. This is one of my favorite hops. It's very, versatile. So I usually always got some of that left around from something else that I've done, because I use it in a lot of different things. Even with the new black IPA that I'm going to make, I'm using Cascade hops. Unfortunately, I was only able to get 1 pack, but that's all right. I got Centennial, which is a very, very like a supercharged Cascade hop. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna have to get off of here, and I'm gonna tend to this here. About possibly might be a boil over. Spray it down with some water. Woo, guys, that was a close one. I almost had a boil over. It just barely came up to the top. Sitting here talking on the camera and almost let it get away from me. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to stirring. All right, guys, getting ready to add my last hop addition. It is now at the 30-minute mark. And there it goes, another 1/4 of an ounce of Cascade. Go ahead and tie this thing up and just drop the whole thing down in there. No need to keep it on top anymore because I'm not going to be adding any more hops to it, so I can just drop it in there and pull it out at the end after it's done when I throw it in the fermenter. There we go. I couldn't decide whether or not to drop it in at the last 20 or 30 minutes. So I decided to heck with it. I'll just do it at the 30 minutes. That way to give it a little bit more bitterness to it. And just use these here, my spices, the coriander and orange peel, at the last 5 minutes to give it some extra flavor and aroma. Alright guys, it's the last 5 minutes of the boil. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in my spices. This is just a little over a half of that pack, which was a 1/2 ounce of coriander and a 1/2 ounce of orange peels, but I didn't put the entire bag in here. I just put about a little over half the bag in here of it, kind of separated it out. I didn't want to overkill it because I've never used coriander in a ale before. This is the first time for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and check it out and see what it does to the beer. Last 5 minutes of the boil, they in. Now, after this 5 minutes is over with, I'm gonna be taking it in there into the bathtub. That's my wort chiller, the bathtub. And once I get done cooling it, it'll probably take about an hour to cool it in the bathtub. So once it's done cooling in the bathtub, then I will bring it back in here and throw it into the fermenter and then pitch the yeast. The yeast is now in a starter. I went ahead and threw it in there to see what it would do. So far, it's showing some bubbles. It's showing some signs of life anyway. Anyways, guys, I'll be back with you shortly. Okay guys, we're sitting at a little over 2 gallons. So I'm gonna go ahead and top this off with some cold water. The wort is sitting at 85 degrees right now. So after I top it off with some cold water, it should bring it down to temperature. I'll be right back. Looks like we're about 3.5 gallons there, guys. Let me go sanitize this real quick. Go ahead and give this a quick mix. Get the temperature on this. See if it's temperature ready to pitch yeast. Plus I need to check and see what the alcohol or the original gravity is to see what it could be in the future. Now, everything here has already been sanitized previously, guys, so it won't hurt for me to dump it right back in here afterwards. Alright guys, this has cooled down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get the temperature on this thing again. Okay, 75 degrees. That's fine by me. I will go ahead and see if I can get a original gravity on this thing. 1.042, guys. That's what the original gravity is on this. That gives it a possible ABV of just a little over 4%, which is perfect. That's what I was looking for. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it as is. We don't need to add any more water. I want to get the yeast. This right here. I'm going to go ahead and pitch it. I know this is a little warmer than I would like. It's like 79 degrees, but that's fine. It'll cool down fast enough for the yeast to do its thing. And this is the Sierra Nevadas Kellerweis Bavarian-Style wheat beer yeast that I harvested and washed. Getting that floral notes from the coriander. Oh, it's a little tip. When you're putting coriander, if you don't know, you need to crack the seeds before you put it in your muslin bag. Just FYI. Getting the floral notes from the coriander on this, and that orange peel just sets it all off, guys. Well, it's sweet right now, of course. Very light bitter in the back of the throat. Sweet up front, very light bitter in the back of the throat. But like I said, it's still wort, so I'm not going to put this in there since I have my mouth on it. I'll just sit there right there. So pretty much, guys, all you do now is put your airlock and your top on, like any other time, like I've always told you. You just take it and put it in a warm, dark area and let it do its thing. And I hope it does do its thing. Hope that yeast kicks in. Anyways, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Holler back at your boy. Y'all have a good one. Keep growing.